All right, so I wanted to share an experience I had this morning. I went to go get blood work done at a clinic in Victoria, BC. I had a requisition from a naturopath and an MD. I've been having some issues with really extreme fatigue, and I've been sick quite frequently since September, so I wanted to go get to the bottom of it, see what's going on. So one of the tests that they were wanting me to get was a vitamin D test. And so for that test in British Columbia, you need to pay for it. So I was at the front desk paying for the vitamin D test, and there was an older man standing next to me who said, or you could go buy a bottle of vitamin D for $12.99 and save the money for the test. And I said, I was asked to get the test by my naturopath because they were worried that I was chronically low rather than just like a little bit out of the regular range. And he replied, that doesn't exist. He said, I'm a doctor upstairs and all naturopaths are quacks. So this got me a little bit on. I was surprised by the comment of just standing there paying for my test and having this interaction. So I replied, I would appreciate you not giving me your opinion when I didn't ask for it. And he replied, no, I will, because naturopaths are all quacks who have no place in the medical system. And I replied, naturopaths go to school just as long as medical doctors. And he replied, no, they don't. They are all people who couldn't get into medical school, so went to be naturopaths instead. And I replied that one of my close friends got into medical school and naturopathic school, and she chose to become a naturopath. He then replied, I don't believe that. Then at that point, I asked for his name, and he told me his name. I asked him, how do you spell that? He said that he wasn't going to tell me that. And then he told the woman at the front desk that he was going to leave and come back later to deal with what he came there for. And so this was quite an upsetting interaction for me, mostly because I've been having conversations a lot lately about questioning things about doctors, the pharmaceutical industry. This has been on my mind since over 10 years now. I was prescribed antidepressants when I was in high school, and I had a really bad reaction to them. I actually became suicidal for the first time in my life, and I also was getting like shocks. It felt like little shocks in my brain. So I went off of them, and I've never been on pharmaceutical medication since then. I am not against pharmaceutical medication. I think that it's helped a lot of people. People have said that it's helped them. I'm not going to disagree with that. I have seen it help people, so from personal experience, I can also attest to that. But I do think that there is a lot of problems with the medical system, and that it's like very dangerous to say that naturopaths don't have a place in the medical system. Doctors are able to see a patient for 5 to 10 minutes, where a naturopath sees a patient for generally an hour to an hour and a half, gets their whole medical history, talks about their diet, their lifestyle, goes into more extensive tests than a medical doctor generally goes into. And I consider that naturopaths and holistic nutritionists are there to serve as a preventative measure to save people from actually needing to go into the medical system. So I think that it's really important to have preventative care rather than treating, like waiting until an issue is like actually at a point that needs to be medically treated. So yeah, I have at this point written a letter to the BC, the College of Physicians and Surgeons of British Columbia, I have looked on his Rate My MD page, and he has very poor ratings. There is about over 70 reviews, and many of them are negative, talking about him being abusive and rude, using the words abusive, which I feel like he was verbally abusive towards me. And it was at the front desk of a clinic with probably 5 to 10 people sitting in the waiting room behind me. It was very uncomfortable. I was like shaking after having that interaction out of the blue. And I feel like another important thing for me to say is I think it's important to report these things. I think that going online and writing a review on ratemymd.com is useful to let the public know, but there isn't going to be action that's taken from that place. So to actually take the time to print off a complaint form and formally submit a statement of what has happened is an important practice to actually create change. So instead of talking about it, posting a status on Facebook, which I also did, I think that it's important to really get to the systemic uh, the systemic issues in our society by going through the system. So that's all that I have to say. I basically just want to bring awareness to this issue and hopefully prevent it from happening to other people, knowing that every individual has the right and freedom to go to what medical practitioner that they, or I guess I should say, healthcare provider that they wish, and that I hope that we can move in the direction to being able to choose which one we are going to work with in our personal health. I had to pay $170 to see a naturopath, whereas I feel like hopefully someday that would be covered by the medical system. So, anyways, that's my thoughts. Thanks for listening and have a great day.